and welcome to the December the 2nd meeting of the Mobile City Planning Commission. I'd like to take a moment to review our general operating procedures. Our meeting is divided into two sessions, the public hearing session and the deliberation session. In the public hearing session, an application or group application on the agenda is called. The applicant makes his or her presentation. Commission members ask questions, and members of the public make their comments. Only 4 people may speak for an agenda item, project, and 4 against. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes, subject to question by the commission. After 4 minutes, a loud beep will indicate 1 minute left to speak, and at this point, please summarize your comments. After all opposition speakers have finished, the applicant will be given time to respond. If you intend to speak, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, and give your name and address for our minutes. Please direct all comments to the commission only and not to the applicant or the audience. And please remember to speak directly into the microphone. After hearing all applications, the commission will go into deliberation session. In the deliberation session, the commissioners discuss each application with input from the staff as necessary, but with no input from the audience. The commissioners then vote on each application, and results of the voting can be learned from the Planning Commission at 205-5895. We will have roll call. Alan Cameron's here, Jennifer Denson, Carlos Gant, Shirley Sessions.
Here.
Matt Anderson.
Here.
Nick Amberger.
Here.
Scott Jones.
Here.
And Kirk Matei.
Here.
The first item on the agenda are holdovers. The first item is south side of Overlook Road, 745 feet east of the Illinois Central Gulf Railroad right-of-way, known as Salt Line Development, LLC. This application is recommended for denial. Is the applicant present?
My name is Evan Burnett, 79 South Main Street. What has your request and have withdrawn? That's possible. That is possible. Thank you.
The application's withdrawn. Is that? Yes. Application number 2, 24. Pardon me? Oh. Shirley Sessions is recused. Application number 2 is 2465 Wimbush Street, known as Africatown Heritage House Subdivision. This application is recommended by the staff for tentative approval. Is the applicant present?
Good afternoon. I'm John Adams. I'm on staff with Mobile County. The county is the applicant in this. We have actually requested a holdover of this, if possible, to your February meeting. The reason is that the school system is the owner of the property, and we're engaged in some talks with them about the requirements for the subdivision, and we would request a brief holdover for that purpose.
Mr. Chairman, staff is in support of that. Mr. Adams, would that be until the February 3rd or the February 16th meeting?
February 3rd.
Okay.
Thank you.
Applicant has requested a holdover till February the 3rd. Item number 3, under new subdivision applications, is 5535 Linwood Steiner Road and 5575 US Highway 90 West. The application is recommended for tentative approval, subject to several conditions. Is the applicant present?
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Eckhart, 5725 Fox Ridge Drive's address. I don't have any information to add to the presentation. Read through the stipulation, we're in agreement with it, but available for any questions should you have any. Thank you.
Applicant's in agreement with all recommendations?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4 is...
Mr. Chairman, we need to see if there's anyone here to speak or with questions on number 3.
Okay. Is anyone...
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition or ask any questions concerning this
Oh.
application?
Sorry. Okay. Item number 4. 1172 Elmira Street. This application is recommended for denial. Is the applicant present? Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Clark. I'm with Smith Clark and Associates. Our address is 11111 US Highway 31 in Spanish Fort. I am the surveyor that put together this application. We understand it's recommended for denial because of the substandard lot sizes that we want to create. But this will actually be the 3rd one in this neighborhood that we've done for various folks. And it is pretty characteristic of the neighborhood, the lot sizes that they want to. There are, I counted earlier today, I counted 6 on the street alone that are that size or smaller. And there's a dozen more just in the block around it that are that size or smaller, some of them much smaller. And the applicant, my client, has good plans for the lots to put some houses there, and that will help the neighborhood. There's also a comment about ownership, and we do have the documents. Okay, we can email those as soon as this afternoon as far as ownership goes. And one other comment was for denial was that most of the subdivisions in this neighborhood were just creating separate lots of record for existing structures, and that is true on one of the projects we've done. But one we just did earlier this year, it was a large lot, had one house over to one side. We subdivided it, and now they're in the process of moving a house onto that parcel and restoring this house. So I think it's goes in line with what's going on in that neighborhood at the time to have these lots. Thank you. Okay.
Any questions by commissioners?
I have a question. We see letters of opposition. Have you had a meeting with the neighbors in that particular community?
I'm not aware of an official meeting with the community. And we have not really any discussion with them. We're aware that a particular neighbor was questioning some things, but
Yeah, we have 3 letters here that in opposition of that particular proposal. I would suggest that you have a meeting with the neighbors just to share with them exactly what your plans are for those particular lots.
okay.
Yeah, the parking, sorry, my name is Robert F. Lee III, 1172 Elmira. The parking, it actually fits under the city's code as far as off-street parking. The plans for the house there's no physical plans for them yet, but the idea is to incorporate off-street parking for an interior and the exterior lot. And so I think that would allay a lot of the fears of allay one of the concerns of one neighbor. The other, I have not, haven't looked over what their concerns are. But I think that these lots not only weave into the fabric of the neighborhood, but they stabilize that corner and they bolster the build-out and preservation of Oakley. I just wrapped up a project that I restored on 1105 Texas Street. It was a Restore Mobile house. I purchased it from them and completely renovated and got it back to habitable conditions, and we look forward to continuing this process through the neighborhood and really revitalize everything that's in that general area. But I'll review the other letter of opposition, and then I guess do we have comment or?
What is the procedure here if we do, because we didn't get these letters ahead of time, we don't know what their opposition are, or if we can accommodate them or alleviate their,
Staff.
If somebody speaks against the application,
if they're here today, but the letters themselves, do we have a chance to address these issues today, or does that have to?
there's not somebody that's going to make remarks.
Well, we will call for other
Okay.
people to speak in support, and then 4 people will be able to speak against, and then you will be able to respond.
Okay.
Are there plans for this to be single-family residence for these?
Yes, sir. They would all be single-family residents. And I'm actually going to continue to own I'm planning on moving into the house that's existing on the property on Lot 3. So the other 2 lots would be immediate neighbors, so.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Is anyone here to speak against?
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, because I want the applicant to have an opportunity to respond, I want to lay out some things that may not be clear from the staff report. The overall site has dimensions of 74 by 150. And while, yes, this is in a historic area, in an older area where substandard lots are very common, what is being proposed is 2 lots fronting Rapier that are less than 40 feet wide by roughly 85 feet deep. The overall site that is to be divided into 3 lots consists of only 11,100 square feet, which is far below the density allowed in an R1 district. So while the commission could consider waivers of the subdivision regulation requirements in terms of the area of the lots and the width of the lots, a rezoning would be required to put 3 homes on an area of that size. Now, the applicant brought up in their application, recently the commission approved this 2-lot subdivision right here on the north side of Elmira, one lot to the east of the site. That was recommended for approval. That was approved, granted approval. The situation here, however, was there were already 2 homes on that overall piece of property, and the subdivision simply established a lot line between those 2 existing homes. So what was on the ground did not change. There was also a recent application here on the south side of Elmira where that was re-subdivided. You have an existing structure here, another lot line was put down the middle. But again, the overall dimensions of that site was in compliance with what you have in the community adjoining to the west and to the east. As you can see here, what is proposed takes this existing lot and then cuts it into 3 pieces. So you have substandard widths, substandard size, and then you have a density issue. So if the commission is looking towards approval, I would recommend a holdover until January to allow the meeting, if so desired by the commission, with the neighbors, but to also allow them to submit a rezoning application to allow the density.
Rezone it to what? R3?
Give me a minute to do some math. Yes. Because you're going to have three lots there with 3 houses. You'd approve it creating a violation of the zoning ordinance.
And
Because each lot, once created, would then
Be in violation.
supposedly allow 1 home per lot, but the overall area of that property is 11,100 square feet. Each single-family residential home is supposed to have 7,200 square feet. You don't really have enough in a suburban environment. You don't have enough for 2 houses. In this area, you can consider the historic district overlay, but again, within this block of Rapier up to Selma, down to, I believe that's Texas, and over to Regina, we don't have lots of this configuration.
But if we subdivide it into 3 lots, then it'll be 3 lots, it won't be that 1 lot. And so those 2 lots will leave, you don't have a house on.
Those 3 lots,
But that's,
which violate the zoning ordinance.
yeah,
Same.
that's outside the tolerance.
The 2 of those 2 lots, right?
Right now,
So lot 1 and lot 2 would be substandard lots.
all 3 of them are
But the other
substandard.
one already has a house on it, so that's kind of irrelevant.
No,
But it's
the
all one
house,
lot of record. It's just
correct.
one lot now, so
It's
not
one lot.
violation of
It's a
anything.
lot.
It's not 2 lots, it's 1 lot.
So, Margaret, so it's kind of following that with the subdivision you referenced that has the 2 existing houses on it,
yes.
that front of Myra, did we have to go through a rezoning process for those as well also?
No, because you had non-conforming. You had 2 homes on there that predated the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
So your overall boundary had 2 homes. Since all you did was put a lot line in between them, you did not create a zoning violation.
Okay.
It was a legal non-conforming situation.
So if they divided this lot into 2 lots, could it still be R1?
I think considering Hodo and the fact that you have 11,100 square feet, it is possible we'd need to analyze the area, but 3 lots is a definite violation. I could not find where we had 3,000 square foot lots in this area.
Is the applicant amenable to cutting this to 2 lots versus 3?
It's something I would prefer to have as submitted. If it is unachievable, I would like to subdivide that corner off. I think talking about the irregularity of lots, when you move just to the south, 2 properties, number 357 and 359, you've got a 35-foot lot with a 26-foot wide house and a 40-foot lot with a 23-foot wide house. And if you move to the north there, the neighbor immediately behind me, the former property owner, she has a 50-foot lot and a 22-foot wide house. And even if you look at the setbacks and easements that would constrain the overall footprint of the house, they're still well within the dimensions and context and fabric of the existing neighborhood. So it wouldn't create any sort of anomalies that are there, so.
I get where you're coming from
Yeah.
aesthetically.
Yeah.
But those houses already exist.
Margaret, for doing the quick math, it looks like if that lot 1 and lot 2 were theoretically combined, you would only end up with a 6,178 square feet. So if he just did 2 lots, he still would be coming back for rezoning. Had to say
I
that.
would like, before I try to make
Yeah.
something off the fly, I would need to look at the surrounding area and do some analysis, because I don't want the commission making a decision on off-the-cuff information. I think 2 lots is way more compatible with the existing development in the area in terms of square footage and lot width, and not creating a zoning ordinance violation. If that is the direction that the commission is leading towards and the applicant is agreeable, we could have that back to y'all at the next meeting.
Wait, so even though we'd still be violating the zoning ordinance, wouldn't we?
You have the historic district overlay, which gives you some flexibility with lot dimensions and things of that nature. Not to this extent, because this does not exist within 150 feet.
Yeah, I got you. Cool.
I have a few questions. You mentioned parking. Is it your intent to have off-street parking for all 3 of these lots?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You mentioned the off-street parking, and I just want to make sure I heard you. Is your intent to have off-street parking for all 3 lots?
So lot 3, as it is, will have a garage and driveway, so it'll have total off-street parking. And off-street parking in the neighborhood is an anomaly. Having a garage is a rarity. And so the lot 1 and 2, I'm willing to, conform the design to appease everybody, and still have the architectural integrity of the home. So from my rough calculations, if I squeeze the house up a little bit on the corner side to allow a driveway and to have through access to the interior lot, to where they could have a space of off-street parking, and then so could that house, it would still leave me with approximately 1,350 square feet for a footprint, like go vertical, and that solves a lot of issues. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. I mean, ideally, I would like for this to happen. If not, if it's just 1 lot, then if that's all that, working within the confines of the outlay, if there are no examples, or if the other homes that are in the area don't allow that to fit in that box, then yes, I would like to just go to 1 lot. But yeah, as the parking, I would like to at least have off-street for lot 1, lot 2. Lot 3 is a non-issue. But I mean, even allowing for off-street parking for the city code, it still fits the off-street parking codes. I think it's 1 or 2 spots per lot that it would have to have off-street parking, or on-street parking, sorry.
Would the staff prefer to have some time to do a little more research and then work with the applicant? I mean, I think, is that
I
where the
was
staff?
going to suggest, kind of based on what Shirley said, why don't you hold it over for a month? Give him the time to meet with the Mitchells, who wrote 2 letters to the staff. Let Margaret do the analysis, and then we can see where we are in a month. And as far as meeting with the Mitchells, you don't have to have a designed home, but if you can just kind of sketch out what you think you might be building, to give them some idea, because looking at their letter, they just, they don't know what's going to be there, other than they mentioned shotgun houses. But if you can kind of sketch out what you're thinking, show it to them, and see what you can do to appease them, and then Margaret can do her analysis.
As a backup to this, I would also like to see one with 2 lots versus 3 presented as well. And see what
And
that
that's,
looks
that's
like.
the analysis she's gonna do to see if that's
Right.
gonna require
Yeah,
rezoning.
and the off-street parking issue, I think you mentioned squeezing the houses in. I mean, would that require a variance on the setbacks? You mentioned squeezing these 2 houses onto these 2 lots to allow for off-street parking.
From the staff's perspective, one of the things we were going to do in the additional analysis is we can't say what size homes can
Yeah.
be there, but we can at least sketch out what the maximum buildable widths
Yeah.
are, because you're getting pretty narrow on Lot 2 with it being a corner.
The side setbacks
Because it's a substandard width lot, there's a formula. Yes. And we all know I cannot do math on the fly.
So what is the first meeting date in January that we'd hold it over to?
Six, it's either the 6th or the 20th.
6th?
That give you enough time with the holidays?
That'll give us more than enough time to do the analysis, and anything that the applicant wants to provide regarding not a rendering of the home, but placements of the home on the lot, that would be helpful.
Okay. And the lot adjacent, diagonal, where it says VAC or whatever it is, right?
Vacant,
Opposite the site.
yes.
From the curb to the property owner's side of the sidewalk, so on the other side of the sidewalk, is 11 feet on their side, and on my side, it's the same dimension. And the house on the corner that's existing, it's 6 feet from the exterior of the house to the sidewalk, and so.
The historic district overlay applies only on the same side of the street.
Okay.
So it would only be measured along the east side of Rapier in terms of your setbacks.
Okay.
And Margaret, are we requiring that they have a meeting with the neighbors? Not only the Mitchells, but I think we have a letter in here from Ms. Howell.
When the commission votes on this in the deliberation session, they can lay out what stipulations that they would like to see.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions from the commissioners? We'll move on to number 5. Under new planning approval applications, 2601 Dolphin Island Parkway. This is recommended by the staff for approval. Is the applicant present? Are you good with everything?
I'm Paul Davis. My address is 756 St. Louis Street. I'm the architect on the project.
I'm Mike McAleer. My address is 4358 Old Shell Road, Suite B307. I'm with the McAleer Tunstall Company. We manage the property for the ownership. Just want to answer your question.
We noticed in the approval should be subject to the following conditions, and we were just reviewing those and just wanted to confirm the landscape, the compliant buffer. The owner has a privacy fence that's 6 foot tall behind the property. We didn't know if that's the issue.
Along the back property line, there's a brand-new 6-foot privacy fence there.
Wonderful. We just need it on the site plan. And it may have been provided on the survey, but the survey was provided after this report went out.
The survey also, the other one, the survey that we submitted, I guess, yesterday, the day before, whenever it finally, the corrected surveys, I should say, it shows the parking spaces. That's one of the issues. It now shows the parking spaces.
Wonderful. We just, as it followed the report.
Okay.
We weren't able to refer to it.
That's good. I just want to make sure we're addressing them, to your concern. And then the third one, submittal and completion of the subdivision process prior.
This is not a legal lot of record. If you have a deed establishing the overall boundaries of the site as in existence, it via meets and bounds prior to 52, we can accept that. We just need that or else a subdivision application.
Do you have the deed?
I think we can find that, yeah.
Okay.
Just email it to the staff, we'll review it and let you know.
Okay. And the last one, full compliance, is that just a general note?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's the police, we better comply.
Yeah, okay. That was it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else here to speak for? Anyone here to speak against? We'll move on to number 6. 1108 Dolphin Street. This application is recommended for approval. Is the applicant present?
Yes, sir. I'm Allison Herlihy with Kindred Yoga LLC. My address is 2306 Dolphin Street. This is my business partner. We did, yes. We understand that a new revised site plan needs to be submitted, and we've already requested that that be prepared, so that's in process.
So which building are y'all looking at using?
So this building is in the bakery complex where Red or White is located and some other offices and things. It's historically for many years been a mixed-use development. And our building, if you're facing the development, it's to the left. It's a gray square building that's separate from the rest of so the zoning line runs right down the middle of the parking lot.
Okay, so it's the one that says Atchison Properties on the front, right?
Right. I believe on there it's labeled office, I think. Yeah, exactly.
I'm familiar with that site. I don't remember how many parking spots are on that site right now. I noticed you're going to have workshops and whatnot. What's the parking layout look
I
like?
remember we submitted everything with our documents, but I think the dedicated site parking itself, I think there's 73 spots, if I remember correctly. There's also some parallel spots on Dolphin Street in the front, and there's street parking on Hallett and street parking behind the complex.
Yeah, there's the issue. Parking on Dolphin would be problematic as well as Hallett. It's so narrow, but
It's in the plan, it shows the parking space. Yeah.
with 73, I don't think that's an issue. I see it now. Okay.
It's a big lot. and
Yep.
I've never seen it
Good.
completely full.
Nope. You good?
And the benefit of the mixed use is the different businesses that are in there kind of have different peak times. And I really don't think there's going to be a concern with overlap in that respect. We're not going to be open late at night. And it's kind of a niche practice. This is, I think our categories, as far as zoning goes, falls in the same category as like a gym, for instance, which are going to have a lot more traffic in and out. We're more of a boutique studio that has smaller class sizes. You can only have one class at a time in there. I would note too that Elizabeth and I both teach at a studio in Spring Hill that also has shared parking with some other businesses, and it has much less parking than this does, and it's never been an issue that either of us have observed.
Any more questions? Thank you. Is anyone here to speak against? Okay, we'll move on to number 7. 5358 Kuhlman Road. This application is recommended for approval. Is the applicant present?
Name's Jason Linder, address 960 Schillinger Road South. In agreement with the staff report. I have nothing to add unless there's any questions.
Okay. Thank you. So that concludes the public meeting. We'll move on to the deliberation session. Item number 1, south side of Overlook Road, 745 feet east of the ICG Railroad has been withdrawn. Item number 2, 2465 Wimbush Street. I believe they requested a holdover.
That's correct, until the February 3rd meeting.
I'll make that motion. Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Item number 3, 5535 Linwood, Steiner Road, and 5575 US Highway 90 West. Recommended for approval.
Move to approve based on staff recommendations.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Item number 4, 1172 Elmira Street. The staff recommends for denial.
Move to hold over until January 6th.
Second.
Is this where I add a request? I would also like to add that they have a neighborhood meeting with the neighbors who are opposed to this development prior to our next meeting.
And I would also like to see another drawing with 2 lots versus 3 presented as well, in conjunction with the 3 lots.
Do I need to amend a motion on that? Yeah, I would amend my motion to include the requirement for a meeting with the neighbors, and y'all are already doing the analysis, right? Do we need to?
Mr. Jones was requesting a 2-lot.
Oh, from the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, so moved.
Is there a second?
Yes,
A
Mr.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item number 5, which is 2601 Dolphin Island Parkway. This is recommended for approval.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Okay,
It's got
so
some
moved
findings
with
of
adopted finding of facts, A, B, and C.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Item number, what was that, Dolphin Island Parkway? Item number 6, 1108 Dolphin Street, recommended for approval.
Move to approve subject to staff recommendations with findings of fact A, B, and C.
Second.
Did I hear a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Item number 7, 5358 Cooiman Road, recommended for approval.
Move to approve based on staff recommendations.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Staff, is there any other business?
She said no.
Huh?
I shouldn't have said that. Margaret says there's no other business. No, nothing else.
We're adjourned.